What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Rad Pack Podcast, and I'm your host, Garrett from Born to Be Rad, a.k.a. the Rad Influencer.
And I'm Mel from My Killer Podcast, a.k.a. the Rad Hatter.
And I'm Justin from Movie Watch Daily, a.k.a. the Rad Rancher, and we are the Rad Pack.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Rad Pack Podcast. We got a special one today. We're going to do our top 5 horror Christmas movies. What do you guys think about that?
Woo! I'm so excited.
Got a good stack here.
We don't know our picks, so we may have the same ones here, but I just went through my stuff and I was like, let me pick a top 5 of the horror movies that are set around Christmas that I like to watch around this time every year. So hopefully there's some in here maybe you two haven't seen and vice versa.
I got some. I hope I have some kind of outside of the box picks here. I try to go some deeper cuts. So I'm really curious to see your guys' list. I'm excited about this one. I love Christmas horror.
You've always got deep cuts though.
Yeah, I got some good ones.
Yeah, we did like the Rad 9s and stuff. You were taking things out of nowhere.
Well, including one that actually I've owned. It's a Vinegar Syndrome title that I've owned for a long time that I just finally watched this week, and I loved it. So now it's like it's in an instant rotation for me. So
like you hadn't seen it before?
Yeah, I snagged it as a blind buy, and then I finally watched it and I loved it. So it's going to be a mainstay for me for sure. I love Christmas horror because like the lights and everything, like if the cinematography is super Christmassy, Christmas horror can be really, really unique and creepy. And I got some good ones. Mel, I know you got some good ones.
Mine are the best. I cheated a little bit because, I was trying to decide if I should do what Google thinks is Christmas horror or what I think is Christmas horror. Gives me the Christmas vibes. So there might be one or two in here that are around Christmas, but might not be specifically titled Christmas horror. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should go by what we feel because Google's weird when it comes to stuff like that. They got shit all over the place. So I think if you feel like it's something that you could watch and it feels like Christmas, I'd say let's put it in. I mean, I have my 5 are pretty much Christmas movies, more or less. But what we'll do is we'll do our top 5. We'll start at 5. We'll kind of go around Robin style. And then at the end, if we have any honorable mentions that maybe hasn't been talked about yet, we can throw those in there too and just tell you a couple other ones to check out. So hopefully there's some on this list that you guys out there haven't checked out because I know there'll probably be some that you guys have all seen and heard or whatever. But I'm excited to do this.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because like kind of going what you were saying, Mel, like some of the movies like may take place around Christmas, but like the holiday isn't like the main focus of the story, or there's not like a really obvious like Santa Claus or something, but it still has it still feels very seasonal. So I have a couple like that, and then a couple that are like super Christmas focused. So
okay, good. So I'm not out on an island with that then.
Yeah, I have a couple in here that one could almost be like. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but one that maybe I might get a little pushback. That's not a Christmas movie. I think it is. So
that's gonna be me.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm curious to see your guys' picks.
All right. Well, let's get this thing rocking and rolling. We'll start at our number 5. This one I think is kind of a deep cut, I would say, compared to what else is on my list here. This is one I saw in 2009 when it came out, and to me it was like I felt like, and I don't know for sure if this is a remake or not. I think it is kind of a remake, but this one's set around Christmas, and it is super creepy for anybody who hasn't seen it, and that is...
Guys, what's up? Radpack and Studio House have partnered up to give you a discount at StudioHouseDesigns.com. You can enter the discount code RadPack at checkout for 15% of your order just in time for the holidays to get your Christmas gifts and all of that stuff. So go to their website, enter the code RadPack at checkout for 15% off. Thank you to Studio House Designs for partnering up with the Rad Pack. Watch more horror movies.
2009's The Children. I don't know if you guys have checked this.
I haven't seen that one.
This is definitely one to check out. It takes place around Christmas. It's about all these families that get together for Christmas, and they have a bunch of little kids, and they're going like, "Oh, go outside and sled and stuff," and then all hell starts to break loose. And this is one I highly recommend you guys checking out for sure. I'm assuming this is probably still available. It doesn't seem like it's got any other release besides this and a DVD. So after 2009, like I haven't heard about this at all, but it's definitely one that I watched recently that's still really good, but it's actually kind of a hard watch. Like there's some cringy moments in it, like not cringy bad, but like you wince because it's pretty violent. So and it's got a lot of kids in it too that are doing some of the.
Is that some kind of special release or what is that?
So this was like part of like that they did this ghost house underground. It was like a little line that they did back in the day. Lionsgate did it. It's similar to like back then when they would do like with Dimension Extreme and stuff where they would just take all these horror movies and put them on like this little line. This was part of that ghost house line that Lionsgate did, and it was the big standout on that whole series, I feel like. So
that's cool. I like it when they do stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's a full movie, so it's not like it's like a short or anything like that. And it says from the makers of the Evil Dead trilogy. So I mean, I don't know exactly. I'm trying to see who made this.
Well, Ghost House isn't that Sam Raimi's production company?
Oh, it is.
That is. Yeah.
So that's probably exactly.
Oh, okay. Why. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't that's cool. I haven't heard of that one. I'm glad you mentioned that. I got a new one to put on my watch list. Rad.
Yeah, definitely get this if it's still available, and it's got like a documentary, like the making of and stuff like that on it. So definitely one I would check out.
Cool. What you got, Mel?
Do I have to go? Okay.
You have to go next.
Mine are super deep cuts. I'm just kidding. This is embarrassing. The Seed of Chucky.
Is that a Christmas movie?
Yeah, the opening scene is Santa Claus walking through like a graveyard or whatever.
Oh, when they're filming the thing.
What?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Seed of Chucky.
You haven't seen Seed of Chucky?
Justin!
No, I'm going through them right now. I'm going through
this is
the
like
series
a
right now.
you movie. You need to see this.
I know. I'm embarrassed.
Wow, I'm shocked.
I'm gonna cut that out. I'm gonna cut that out. I love that movie. Good.
No,
pick,
you
Mel.
leave that in. I want people to know this about you.
No, that was one that
You leave it in.
I ran to the theater to see that when it came out. I mean, it's got its fans, it's got its haters, no question. I think it's a little bit at the time it was the most different of the Child's Play or Chucky movies that we ever had. So I think now though it's actually looked at as a favorite, like cult favorite because of all the other ones that we got after that. I think it's actually one of the better, and when you start adding like the new couple that had come out after, I think.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky, I love them together as like a double pack. Like I like Child's Play and I like the second one. Like those are great. They're still favorites, but these ones hit a little differently. I feel like they fall more into like my taste of movie, like the cheesy B horror comedy kind of situation. But yeah, this is definitely a Christmas movie and it is my number 5 and I stand behind that.
Wow, I totally forgot about that beginning part when they were filming like that Christmas.
Yeah, when like Tiffany and Chucky are animatronics and they like keep breaking down or whatever.
I forgot about that. That's actually kind of a cool
Christmassy thing about it.
Yes.
Well, no, I thought at the end, when they're in the house, like it's still around Christmas, right?
I don't know. I mean, it never was anything that I thought about, but I mean, maybe now that you say it, I would be more open when I watch it to kind of look around, and you might be right. I mean, there could have very well been more Easter eggs when it comes to that kind of time of year that I just didn't pick up on.
Yeah, give it an old watcheroo because it's very good.
We'll let that slide. We'll let that slide. Since it's number 5, it's lower on the list, so it's like, less percentage of actual.
We don't
Christmas.
have to let it slide. It's a good movie.
No, but I mean, I think it's actually it's kind of a good pick because now I want to go back and kind of say, wow, is this one that no one's ever really talked about when it comes to taking place around that? Because you never hear that mentioned.
Oh my God, you go and watch it, and that Santa Claus scene is literally the only thing. It has been a minute since I watched it, but I do remember that scene and feeling Christmas vibes. So
okay, my number 5. This is the one I was talking about. This is the one I was talking about that I hadn't seen. Actually, I better cover this.
Oh,
don't open till Christmas. I loved this movie, man. This is a sleazy, down and dirty 80s slasher. I was expecting, when you go for these, like, I don't know if how well known or how like popular this movie is. I hadn't heard of it until Vinegar Syndrome released it. And sometimes like movies like this can be like a little slow or a little weird because this is kind of almost like a Christmas, almost like a Giallo type slasher.
Yeah.
So I thought it might have been a little slow, but they pack a ton of kills in this thing, like really fun kills with that bright red like paint, Giallo type blood. It's really sleazy. It's got a lot of chicks, and I posted that bathroom scene on my stories today. on my stories today.
Oh my God,
I loved it. This was a super fun movie. Cool killer. Decent reveal at the end because it's kind of like a mystery killer. But I love this movie. You guys fans?
I haven't seen it.
I'm a fan of it. What I think is cool about that movie and that's different is that in all these Christmas horror movies, you usually get a killer Santa. Well, this one kind of flips it, and it's almost like there's a person who kills Santas, right? So everybody who's dressed as Santa is like becomes a victim, right? So this person's hunting down like Santa Clauses, which is a cool concept because it's very different. And then at the end, you kind of you find out like why he's doing that.
It's really gritty and grainy. I think it's from 1984. So I had a lot of fun with it.
That's cool, man. Yeah, that's a good one. Got the slip too.
Yeah, that slip is
hell
nice.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna move on to number 4, and this is one that I really like a lot actually, and I know this probably won't be on many people's list. It is just really hokey, and it comes from the Silent Night Deadly Night collection. It's actually part 5 and is the Toy Maker. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that one. That's the one with what's the guy's name? Like Geppetto's toy store, and he's got the son that's like really creepy. And there's like a lot of killer toys in this one, which I really think is cool. Like a lot of the toys that are like the killer toys are just really cool. So 80s, so like the practical effects, and it's almost so cheesy that it's cool as hell.
Mickey Rooney is like insane in that movie.
Yeah. So I think out of all the Silent Night Deadly Nights, that's my favorite out of all of them. Even though I do think like part 1 is a better movie, but I still think that to me, number 5 is my favorite of the bunch as far as the aesthetic of it and being in the toy store and how wacky it is towards the end. So
I can't believe I forgot about that one. I definitely would have had that in my honorable mentions. I did a marathon and watched all those. I think it was the first year it was on YouTube. I did a whole video like covering every single movie in that series. I think that might have been it was up there in my ranking. I love that movie. That and the one with all the bugs in it, I really liked.
Yeah, which one was that one?
The one with Howard, Clint Howard.
It was number 4. That's the one I think Usna did, right?
Yeah, that's who it was. Brian Usna, yeah. Those last couple are really, really cool. But yeah, you're right. The killer puppets, and it's a wild movie, man. Part 5 is fucking rad. Good pick.
Effing rad.
What's your number 4, Mel?
Hammered out. Let's see what we got here.
So I haven't seen that movie either. I haven't seen any of these movies yet. I clearly haven't dug deep into the Christmas horror.
But you have this right?
I do.
Oh, you should slam into that this year then, for sure, being Christmas. You should pound out those 3.
I guess I could.
Pound them out.
Black Friday.
Oh, baby.
Oh, that's a good one.
Well, okay, so it has Bruce Campbell in it, and I love him. And it's not technically a Christmas movie, but it takes place on Black Friday when everyone's shopping for Christmas, and it definitely has Christmassy feels in it. I really liked this movie, and I liked how it ended too, where it was almost like an epic at the end for like 5 seconds. It was like
it turns into like a kaiju film at the last.
Yeah, it was like they could only afford 5 seconds of that digital stuff that they had going on, but I did actually really enjoy this movie.
Does that have a slip on it?
No.
It's got probably a baggie or something on there.
Yeah, I guess I just heard it rattling around. When you can't have
you guys know I bag
baggie
and tag, okay?
That movie was filmed like 10 minutes from my house.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I love it. I remember
they filmed it inside a Babies R Us that's been like abandoned forever.
It's
really crazy. Weird. Yeah. I did a picture.
You can kind of see the budget restraints on that. The shelves are pretty sparse. Like that movie, if with a little bit more money, I feel like that movie could have been a little bit better. Although I did really enjoy it. It just felt a little held back by the budget, but they still did a pretty damn good job. Devon Sawa's really good in it.
Yeah,
Bruce Campbell's great in it.
Good cast of characters, and I don't mind that it had a lower budget or whatever. Those are the kind of movies
gore's
I jam
good.
to. So. Yeah, it is. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's my number 4.
That was good.
Good
I wasn't
pick.
expecting that one. It is a fun movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's another almost Christmas movie. My number 4 is my number
Just
4
calling
is
me out.
Better Watch Out.
Oh my God! You know what? I forgot that one.
Did you forget about it? This
That
is a
would have
deep
been
cut.
on-
Not
that
many
would have been
people
on my
talk
list.
about it. This movie has a great Christmas feel. It's got a super cool, kind of crazy twist at the end. It's kind of a play on like a home invasion Christmas movie with a babysitter and this young boy. And it's really gnarly, man. It takes some good twists and turns. And I don't hear a lot of people talk about this one. It's a really fun movie. I highly recommend it. I happened to catch this. I bought this at Target and had a really nice, like, reflective slip on it and stuff. It's
Yeah, that's
good
what is
edition of
nice.
it. Yeah,
I
it's a
actually
really.
kept
Have you seen
slip
that one,
on
Mel?
mine, so that's how you know.
No.
You haven't seen it?
Oh, you
You would
haven't
love
seen
it.
it?
You would.
You
love
guys
like
are
it.
like really hitting me in the spot where I haven't seen a lot of these movies.
But you would I think you would really love that one a lot.
Yeah,
I think out of
you would
all of
too.
them that we talked about today, I think you might like that. Well, yeah, I think you might like that one the most. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
and I think it's pretty accessible, like on streaming,
I'll
because I
write that
think
one
it
down.
started as like a streaming movie, right? I think it was like a
I'm
straight
not
to
sure.
Netflix movie or straight to something. I think because I saw that first on a streaming service, I believe, and then the movie came out on physical. But yeah, it's really good. Did you ever see the that movie that was on Netflix, The Babysitter?
Oh yeah.
I found that was very similar kind of to that, except this one was more
Yeah, a
like
little bit.
Christmas vibe, yeah.
Yeah, it could be almost like a double feature. Almost.
Sure.
It's good.
No, that was a good pick, man. That one totally passed me by. Like, it's not even on. I didn't even grab it, so I'm glad.
Not
you
many.
brought it up.
It's not talked about that much, man. It kind of flew under the radar, but it is a really good movie.
All right, this one is my number 3, and I love this movie, and I think I'm one of like the only people that loves this movie. So, if anybody here has seen it, you're probably gonna be like, "What the hell?" And that is 1989, I think 1989. Elves.
I knew you're gonna
I've never
pull
seen
one.
that.
I have seen that one.
Oh
Oh
baby,
man.
That's
This is a
actually not
cool
that
movie.
bad.
It's so weird that it just works. Like the elves in it are so weird looking and stupid looking that I just feel like it's just such a cool movie. They're so odd,
yeah.
and Dan Haggerty, like Grizzly Adams, is like the star of this one. So it's really, really cool. It takes place in a mall, so the setting's really good. And there's just some scenes in this that I watched when I was younger. I think I was a teen when I first saw this, but that just never. I always remember them because it was so awful. Like, I don't know if you remember, Mel, but there's a scene at the beginning where this girl is in the shower. It's like a teenage girl or whatever. It's supposed to be a teenage girl. She's in the shower. And like she's like washing herself. This is like at the very beginning of the movie. It might even be the opening credits. I don't remember. But so you see her washing herself, and it shows like every inch of her. And then all of a sudden you see a kid, like a little kid, like looking in the shower, like peeping on her. And then all of a sudden she looks and sees him, and he like runs in the other room, and she's screaming at him, saying, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I like looking at naked girls." She goes, "I'm your sister." Like,
And he's like, "So what?"
Yeah, I'm gonna tell everybody that I saw him. Yeah.
Pervert? I'm not a pervert. I like seeing naked girls. I'm your fucking sister. Yeah, and you've got fucking big tits, and I'm gonna tell everybody I saw.
Yeah, like it's just that scene alone has been like stuck in my head forever. I'm like, it's the funniest scene that like that's just like kind of how it leads into the whole movie. Is that
Because
kid?
that little kid's like dropping F-bombs too.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
How have I
I'm gonna
not seen this movie? Is it a full moon movie or something?
No, it's not. I don't even know AIP home video. I mean, I don't know who put this out, but this has not seen the light of day since VHS.
I actually watched that movie recently. You can watch it on YouTube for free.
Actually, I think it's still available, but me and Dead Pit watched this last year. We did a commentary, and we actually had the movie playing on the screen while we did commentary on in little boxes on the side of it. And I still think it's up. I think we got a copyright claim, but I think it's still up. So you could always watch
Vinegar
it that
Syndrome
way.
needs to swoop that up or something.
Dude, TerraVision did the score and the soundtrack for it, and they did it like I have it. Do I? Yeah, like I have the cassette tape right there that they did. And I keep messaging them saying, is there any chance this is coming out? It doesn't seem like people are able to get a hold of this for some reason. I do not know what the problem is with this. But someone needs to, and I'll mark out when they do, because it's so it's so cheesy that
It's
it just
the
works
weirdest
so
movie
well.
though.
And
Like, do you
so
remember the
interesting-
whole storyline? Like,
yeah, like it was like about Nazis in Germany and all.
yeah,
this
like
stuff.
when
What
you
the
find out
fuck?
at the end, like what's going on is like, whoa.
But the things just look so gnarly, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah. So Black Christmas
Is your number
A
3?
Christmas
is
movie.
my number 3.
There you go.
It was later on in life that I saw this one. This is not a nostalgic movie for me, but I watched it and I appreciate the seriousness of it, I guess, because like I said, normally I'm a comedy horror type person, but this movie is very serious. It's really creepy. And some of the cinematography in this is really good. Like the eyeball coming out of the closet scene. And then there's a couple of other panning scenes where the camera comes up or it swoops back that are really effective. So I appreciate that one more and more, especially that ending scene when it pans out from the window in the attic. And it's like the girl's been up there the whole time and they still haven't found her, you know?
I think it's a great pick. I mean, it's an absolute classic, and like you said, it's actually one of those Christmas or any horror movie in general that actually there's a lot of terror in it. There's a lot of suspense in it. I mean, when he's calling the house and saying all that stuff, the suspense is there. Like you feel like, where the hell is this guy? And you know, and when you see that eyeball for the first time, it's freaky, right?
It's really creepy, and it has kind of like a twist at the end, which I appreciated. So yeah, and it's a Christmas movie. Okay, it's a Christmas horror,
and it's directed by the director. It's Bob Clark, the director of A Christmas Story, which is so wild.
That is wild.
So good, but that was a great pick.
Hell yeah!
Thanks.
You ready for? I got an Oscar winner. I actually have one Oscar winner in this stack here for my number 3. And that is Jack Frost.
Oh, baby.
Oh, I love that slipcover.
Yeah, when they revealed this slip, this had to have been like what, 2015, 2016 maybe?
It was like
an older
one. I think this was even before Vinegar Syndrome really caught steam, because I think that Vinegar Syndrome really opened a lot of people's eyes is when they released Rad and it sold out very fast. I think that really got people to be like, oh, what is going on here? Because it was very rare at that time that something would sell out and just be gone within like a week of release. Like we just didn't see that a lot back then. And I think that really set the tone for people going on Vinegar Syndrome being like, what are they going to release? And let's get it, because these things are limited. And I really do think that's what it was. And they
brought back the VHS lenticular cover. For me, Vinegar Syndrome, like this, Ice Cream Man, Rad kind of put them on the map, for at least for me. But I mean, the fact that we got this movie, and it looks great too. There's some good special features on it, but I love this movie. You can tell, like, I guess when they shot this movie, it was like 80 degrees outside. There's like no snow. It doesn't feel super Christmassy. But and then of course, you know, there was the other movie, Jack Frost, that came out at the same time with Michael Keaton. So it's always fun when, I'm sure a lot of kids back in the day when they rented videos from the video store confused them and rented the wrong one.
Oh yeah.
I loved hearing the stories about people who would switch the tapes too. I'm like,
that's
so brutal.
Yeah,
it is so funny.
It's such a fun, stupid movie.
It almost made my list.
Do you like the shower scene?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's kind of controversial now, apparently.
Yeah, I guess. What, assaulted by a snowman? Is that what it is?
Yeah, assaulted by a snowman in the shower. But the one-liners are great. It's essentially a comedy when you really break it down. It's like a comedy movie, but it's got a cool story. How it's like an escaped convict or murderer or whatever that gets struck by lightning. I forget the catalyst for how he gets turned into the snowman, but it's pretty funny.
That's a great pick, man. It was definitely on my maybe pick, and then when I realized I had so many in my hand, I'm like, oh, that one can't come in. But, no, that was cool. For sure. Look at you rocking some Vinegar Syndrome titles over there.
Hell yeah.
Woo.
Oh yeah, I got 2 Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah. Yep.
Fuck yeah.
All right, I'll make this nice and easy because we're on number 2. Number 2 of my top 5 is going to be Black Christmas. So
nice.
Yeah. So again, same thing we just talked about. super just well-made movie. I mean, it's still a scary movie in my opinion. It just really is super suspenseful, and it definitely had to make my number 2.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Well, my number 2 isn't going to be a surprise.
Oh,
Okay, fine. It's
Violent
not
Night.
technically a horror movie, but there's so much good gore in this movie.
There is.
I feel like it can sneak in there, especially that ending kill. There's so much
Mhm.
blood. It was great. This is a great movie, Garrett. Have you seen it?
I did, and I didn't really like it.
I support
Because
that pick. I love that movie.
The thing
This
is,
movie's so good.
I kind of went into it thinking it was going to be more of a horror movie. That's what my mindset was going in. Like I was expecting that to be kind of a horror movie. Like I didn't see a trailer for it or anything like that. So I just said, okay, well, this is going to be cool, another Christmas horror movie. And then when I put it in, and it was definitely not that. I was kind of bummed out about it. And like I said, there was just to me, there was a lot of cringe in it that I just can't do it.
Did you
Can't do
finish
it.
the whole movie? I forget.
I
feel
did.
like you
I did
said
finish
that
it.
you
Like
pieced
but-
out at some point.
I started to piece out, and then I came back because I remember like coming back to it and kind of watching it, and there was like that scene where he was fighting like a woman, and like she's like almost like robotic and doing like all this gymnastics like thing, and then he did that one scene where he killed her at the end, and I was like, this is stupid. Like, what is this? It's like I didn't get it. Like, I really didn't get it.
Well, she wasn't
Did-
robotic. She was just like a
She was like a cyborg or
a
something.
normal
wasn't she?
chick.
She was a normal chick.
She was like hurt too, so she was walking all funny. It's very much like Home Alone meets Die Hard.
Home Alone.
It's not like John Wick. Like the fight scenes aren't John Wick. The fight scenes are more like Die Hard, where they're like sloppy.
No.
Yeah, they're
No, these were, like,
sloppy.
These were
And
like
they're not
shaky
quick
cam,
cuts
like
either.
over the
They were
top.
pretty
like,
choreographed.
it
I
just was
loved it,
like
though.
it just wasn't my type of like action movie, and I just thought I was getting a horror movie, so I was just like, this is a little too much for me. And that family was the only person in that family that was worth a shit was the dude from Twilight, there, Cam Gigadet, whatever. his
Well,
name
when
is.
you say worth a shit, was it just
They were
like
so annoying. Like I just felt like
annoying,
I
or
couldn't-
like
I
their
couldn't-
acting was bad?
I think that I think that it was on purpose. I think that they
Yeah.
made them annoying on purpose, which was my
100%.
point
They
of
wanted
like,
They were
the
meant
family
to
were
be
like pieces of
cringy
shit,
and
yeah.
annoying.
But
yeah.
I don't. But there's a lot of movies now with how they think modern people act that is annoying, not to be annoying, but they think that that's how people act, and that's annoying. That's what I
think
feel
this
like it
movie
was.
was self-aware on that though, because they were
Yeah, I think it was,
really
too.
making these people look like idiots, kind of in a way.
Well, it's
And
supposed to be
then-
funny.
Yeah,
But I
and then
feel
you're
like-
laughing at them, and then there's a redeeming moment at the end for the couple.
See, I
And
was
I
watching
like
this
all
saying to
the
myself,
emotional
like, this
stuff,
is
too.
why I don't like modern movies. That's what I got when I was watching The Family. It wasn't that I was like, oh, look, they're making them goofy. I was like, no, this is what they think real like modern families are like, and I hate it. Like that's kind of like what I was.
I don't think it
going
was
for.
aiming for that, but I could definitely
It
see how you
wasn't.
felt I think you could definitely feel how the comedy maybe at times felt contrived a little bit, and it was a little syrupy sweet with like some of the, the stuff with the daughter and David. Is it Harbor or Arbor? Is it David Harbor? Harbor with an H.
I
With
don't
an
know. I
H?
say
David
Harbor. I say
I
David
say
Harbor.
Harbor too. Yeah, but I
loved
liked all the
those
stuff.
scenes.
Yeah, I
Between him and
loved
the
all
little
that stuff.
girl were so
Yep.
sweet.
It had me tearing up. It
Me
sucked me right in.
too.
I'm right there with you, Mel. I love that movie, and I thought
Tearing up.
it
I was
actually-
tearing up because I was like, why is this so bad?
Oh my god!
I was crying
I
because I was
loved
like, damn it, I just hung that movie poster up right before I put this thing on for the first time, and I was sad.
And the fight scenes were brutal. I thought, like good
The
fight
fight
scenes
scenes
that went a
were
little
brutal,
harder.
and they were a little choreographed, but they weren't like John Wick choreographed. They were like, yeah, do this and make it look good, but it was still like,
It was like
He
I don't know,
wasn't
to me, it
just
felt
slaying
it felt like
people, you
Jason
know?
Statham.
no,
Action,
he
kind
wasn't
of.
like slaying people. He was getting his ass kicked too.
And he had the man bun, rocking that man bun.
Oh my god, he was rocking a man bun.
Zaddy. I liked it.
Anyway,
All right,
It's a good
my
one.
number 2. Moving on. My next pick is The Lodge.
Oh yeah.
Now, this is one of the ones that I said kind of teeters on the line. It doesn't really feel full Christmas, but it is a Christmas movie. They go to this lodge for this family, like a dad and his 2 daughters has like a new girlfriend or whatever, and they bring him to this cabin during the holidays. And it's a really weird kind of bizarre. I don't know. I guess it's just a thriller, but it's
it's like
almost,
a psychological thriller, kind of, right?
Yeah. Like a psychological thriller with a really cool twist, and it's kind of fucked up. It's got some weird shit in it. And it just messes with you a little bit because it's kind of hard to explain, but it's really, really, really good. Alicia Silverstone's in it. and she's gonna. And I like this lead actress, Riley Keough, whatever her name is. She's amazing in it, and there's a great little twist. It kind of fucks with your mind a little bit. It's really, really good, and it feels really isolated in this cabin in the middle of nowhere. So I really, really like that movie. I highly recommend that one. Good movie. You see that one, Garrett?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good movie. Yeah.
All right, we are on number 1, baby.
Oh shit.
Ooh.
All right, mine's pretty predictable, and we could even put this in a category of is it horror or not. But I mean, it's always going to be my number 1, and that's going to be Gremlins.
I was just going to say, are all of ours going to be the same?
I don't know. I highly doubt Justin's got this in there.
Nope.
But it's
like
one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. So of course, when it comes to taking place on Christmas, it's got to be Gremlins. Some people may look at that and not look at it as horror or not, but I think it really falls on that line of it could go either way. But
Sure.
I always still get a great feeling just watching this, like that opening scene with the song playing, and then the mom battling the gremlins with the other song playing in the house there. I mean, I just really do get a Christmas vibe from this movie, and I do think it's terrifying. I mean, it was one of the movies that really made the industry change their rating systems, because it was a kids movie promoted as a kids movie, and parents were taking their kids out of there because they were freaking out when those gremlins showed up. So so I mean, there was nothing I could have chosen that would have been number 1 besides Gremlins.
Good pick. Love that movie.
Yeah. Gremlins is a Christmas movie, and it is a horror movie. It's a tiny monster movie. So It's definitely a horror movie. It's like a horror comedy, I would say. But this is definitely my number 1 too. I love it. It's totally a Christmas movie. It gives you all the vibes. And I don't know, it's just so cute.
After you brought Violent Night into the mix, you totally redeemed yourself.
Yes! I knew I would.
Yeah.
Man, I'm kind of breaking the Think Rad Pack thing we had going here for the number 1. I feel like
Quick, go grab
you guys
Gremlins.
are going to be like, what? I know Garrett's.
I already know what it's going to be. I have a feeling.
You
think so?
I have a feeling it's going to be.
I want you to guess. Yeah.
It's going to be one of two. It's going to be Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 or Black Xmas. It's going to be one of those, I have a feeling. I knew it.
You got it. This movie, to me, out of any Christmas horror movie I've ever seen, has the most amazing lighting and vibe and Christmas feel. Every scene of this movie is just drenched in Christmas neon. It's gory. It's fucking weird. I love this movie. I love it so much. I feel like it's getting maybe a little bit of a resurgence now. I think people are starting to maybe appreciate it a little bit more. I enjoy it more than the original Black Christmas, although it's a completely.
It definitely has a different tone. They took it in definitely a different tone. I think it's a great movie for sure, and I think it does have a cult following. And I'm surprised somebody like a Scream Factory has not tried to put that out, because it is pretty well loved. I think for a remake, to have that much fanfare is very rare. I think when it first came out, people shit on it, and then I think after it hits physical media, people kind of changed their minds on it.
Mm-hmm. It came out right at the perfect time to where all the movies were super extreme with all the horror remakes, that era, the Platinum Dunes type stuff. So it doesn't hold back at all with the gore, the skin cookies always gets me when he pulls those.
Number 1 though, that's crazy. That's great.
Cookies out there. That's my number 1 pick. I love it.
You would like skin cookies.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna give those a try. I'm gonna make them this year.
Body horror.
Guys, what's up? Radpack and Studio House have partnered up to give you a discount at StudioHouseDesigns.com. You can enter the discount code RadPack at checkout for 15% of your order just in time for the holidays to get your Christmas gifts and all of that stuff. So go to their website, enter the code RadPack at checkout for 15% off. Thank you to Studio House Designs for partnering up with the Rad Pack. Watch more horror movies.
Yeah, gang, that's our top 5, and we really didn't have that many of the same, which I'm very, very surprised. So if anybody has any honorable mentions you want to throw out there that maybe almost made your list, we can kind of do that now. Each go through a few, and then let us know in the comments which your top 5 would be when it comes to Christmas horror. Now, did you guys have
a wonderful
any?
Knife.
Oh, I'm so glad you didn't put that on there. Holy mackerel!
That's an honorable mention. I love that.
No, it isn't.
That movie.
You loved it?
I really enjoyed that movie.
Nothing happened in it. It was nothing happened.
I really enjoyed it. I think I'm a sucker for Justin Long, and I'm also a sucker for movies that have like a little emotional pull to it. So I kind of reminded me of like, you know,
Justin
the idea
Long was good, but I feel like it was like totally killer, but like around Christmas, it's like I feel like I'm like watching. I'm like, I just saw this movie.
Yeah,
Totally
it definitely
Killer
has
was great,
that.
though.
No, it was,
Yeah,
but
that
I feel like
fun.
this is like it's almost like felt like a ripoff of this, but they try to make it take place at Christmas, which again it kind of is because they just do A Wonderful Life, but with a slasher element, right? So it's the same thing where they go back in time and you know.
I haven't seen it yet, but I feel like I'm probably gonna like it based off of what you guys.
I honestly think you'll really like it, Mel.
Long.
Because you have the first 20 minutes of the movie where a bunch of, you know, crazy shit. It's not super gory, and it's very similar to like a Scream movie. But I guess I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it because it doesn't follow exactly like It's a Wonderful Life story, but it kind of has that like play on a classic type of movie like Freaky did, like Totally Killer did, where something happens and the whole story switches up about 20 minutes in. And it turns into a really, really cool little movie. I thought the killer was. Did you like the design of the killer?
I thought it was cool. Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I just thought that it was once you kind of figured out the formula, it was very predictable. I felt like you kind of knew what was going on, and then you kind of feel like it just to me it just feels like it was. I didn't hate it. Like I can't say I hated it. I didn't hate it at all. I think I sent something to Christian about it after I was done watching, and I said I didn't love it, I didn't hate it. I just don't think I'd ever watch it again. Like it's kind of like one of those. Like it just felt very in the middle to me.
I try to think of if I would have liked it as much if it didn't have Justin Long in it. I don't know if it would have been as good because Justin Long and those crazy blue contacts and those big teeth. He's just so good in it. He's a big part of the movie. So if you're a Justin Long fan, it's like a must see. You got to see it. But I like the story between the main girl and her friend, like all of that kind of ooey gooey type stuff. I like that stuff, and it kind of hit the emotional points that I needed it to hit. I'm a Joel McHale fan. I like Joel McHale. He's good in it, so it's a fun movie. I definitely recommend it. 2 thumbs up.
We're gonna talk about a Vinegar Syndrome one that you guys didn't bring up, and that is Dial Code Santa Claus, aka
I was
Deadly
wondering if one of you guys was going to have that on your list.
Yeah, cool movie. It's basically, to me, this is like a Home Alone meets Die Hard or Santa Claus, whatever you want to say. But this is a cool movie, and it's basically just almost the same concept as Home Alone, really, except there's just a killer Santa instead of the wet bandits, I guess. Santa.
You know what's crazy? I bought that movie. I have that exact edition, and I still have not watched it. I have not seen it, and I own that.
I haven't seen it either, but I hear people like it.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, the only downside,
it's a French movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's subtitled, and I have a tough time with those, just because I have to be dialed in and locked in at all times. And that's the only problem I have with subtitle movies. I feel like it's hard for me to not be thinking about other things and like try to do something while I'm watching and then miss.
It's because you're always up doing something.
That's it. But that's exactly it. That's why. It's because I'll like watch it, but then I'll be like like doing an email. I'll watch it and be coming up with a t-shirt design, or I'll watch, you know what I mean? So it's like I feel like my brain is always trying to do like 2 things at once. So when I actually have to like sit there and like read, I feel like it's hard for me to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
But it was good. It was good for sure. Do you have any honorable mentions, Mel?
So I have 2. One of them is also questionably not a Christmas movie, but Batman Returns.
Of course it is.
Oh yeah. Good call.
Or I guess it is a Christmas movie, but questionable if it's a horror movie.
Yeah, that's
what I meant. But I mean, you could kind of consider it like a horror movie because there's
horror
monsters.
adjacent.
Yeah, it's monsters in it and stuff.
More than any of the other 3 from that.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. it is like it's because you have Penguin's freaky, he's biting noses. I mean, Catwoman's getting pushed from tall buildings and to her death. You know what I mean? Like there is a lot of elements like that in it for sure.
Yeah, like the way the boss man bites it. Yeah, so there are horror elements to it, but that was one of my honorable mentions because it's such a damn good movie.
Yeah.
It is like
I haven't seen that
one of the best Batman movies.
Oh no doubt. I would say it's probably the second best out of all of them.
I would argue saying it's better than Batman.
Ooh, it's tight.
Arguably. Michelle Pfeiffer in tight leather.
Yeah, it's
Vicky
so
Vale, dude.
Dude. Christopher Walken. Come on.
Alexander Knox.
It's so over the top, man. It's such a bonkers movie.
It's fantastic. It's so good.
Yeah, it's very good. Justin, you get anything over there laying around?
I think that's probably it. Just It's a Wonderful Knife. That's it. That's my honorable mention.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not even gonna have Gremlins at least as an honorable mention.
What are some of the big ones? I'm trying to think. I know I had a couple honorable mentions. I think they're just slipping my mind right now.
I mean, you got to talk about the original Silent Night, Deadly Night. I mean, that's
I was surprised somebody didn't bring that up too.
It was on my. It was like this was right on the cusp between this and Children, but I wanted to be a little bit different with Children, so this was right there. I love this movie. Very, very cool. I mean, again, everybody talks about part 2, but part 2 is really just a rehash of part 1 with some extra.
I would probably pick part 2. I like part 2 because you can really just like not watch it's like both movies combined plus all the extra shit. So it's like killing two birds with one stone. Just watch part 2. You don't even need to watch part 1.
That's kind of true, actually. Yeah. But having like the toy store stuff, like I said, I really love that when they're in old school toy stores, and I'm always looking around to see like what's on the shelf, and I'll be like, oh, I remember that. I had that. So I love that aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
Anything else, Funky Mel?
Yeah, I just have one more, and this is also questionably not a Christmas movie, but it takes place during Christmas, and that's The Conjuring 2.
Does it really take place during Christmas?
Yes, it does. It really does. It literally has nothing to do with Christmas. There's like, I think there's like a Christmas tree in it.
Wow.
I've never seen a single movie in the Conjuring universe. I've never seen any of the Conjurings.
I haven't seen the new one, but I will say 1 and 2 are worth watching. I think the
rest, be good. There's no way they're good.
1 and 2.
The first one is awesome.
Yeah, the first one is awesome. I think
the first one
really
scared me to death.
Yeah, I would I don't think you need to see Annabelle's or anything like that. I don't really think you need to hit those up.
I agree.
I mean, what else is on there? You don't need to watch Nuns. The Nuns, you don't need to watch those.
Don't worry.
But definitely the first Conjuring, and if you like it, I would say maybe the second, because the second wasn't that bad.
The second one gets a little wild, but you also get your introduction to the nun, which is literally one of the scariest moments in cinema, I feel like.
And then how about the tall guy or whatever, the tall man or something?
He was kind of, I don't know. He's like what I meant by a little over the top. But the first one has some really horrifying elements, like on top of the boudoir or whatever you want to call that thing, and then like in the basement. Oh, some of those moments were terrifying with minimal effort.
Yeah, I think you would really like the first one, Justin. I really do.
I think so too.
It was a wild scene here when that came out, because the real Conjuring house is in my state. It's like two towns over. So like people come here to
there.
Yeah, people come here to go and do that. And I've never done it. Is
it an Airbnb or something?
Yeah,
it's like I don't know if it's an Airbnb, but I know you can go tour it. I know that much. But I mean, it is still here. And so when that came out, it was like the theaters were like, there was lines going out the theater to see that thing, because everybody, it's all stuff that happened here in the state. So everybody was all excited to watch it. And I remember the theater was completely packed, and it was just a cool theater experience, because everybody was so hyped up, because it was like we all could relate to it and be like, oh, the house is here. And yeah, I've actually never went to check it out, which is crazy to me that I've never.
You can stay there. It's pretty expensive. It's like $600 a night or something, but they allow up to like 9 people or something. So I mean, if you have a bunch of people in your party and you split that however many ways, it ends up not being that bad, but you can stay there. I was just listening to a podcast the other day. I
think one night would be fine, right? We don't need a whole weekend at the Conjuring house, just maybe one night.
I don't know. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, I'll look into it and see like what you do there. Like, I mean, is it just like you just stay there and use the kitchen and do all this stuff there? Like, is there specific things you can and can't do? Like, I have no idea.
I don't know. I think people like ghost hunters go and stay there and stuff. So they're like doing their EVPs and
and
stuff.
probably walking around the property and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
whatnot. So, yeah, so definitely pretty cool for sure. The other one I brought in, and we talked about this earlier, is Christmas Bloody Christmas, which, you know, I know Justin was super excited about this when it came out because, like,
Man,
the passion.
I had a big passion for Joe Bigos because I loved VFW. I really loved Bliss, and I was just so looking forward to that movie. But it just, I need to watch it again. I was just a little disappointed. It does look really cool, although it's filmed so dark. I need to rewatch it. I should probably at least support it and get the blue.
Yeah, it's on my watch list again this year. Because I did a review when it first came out, and I kind of said it was a little bit down the middle for me. Like, I think that it had a lot of promise. The concept was really cool. I felt like they went overboard with like the language aspect of it. Like, remember, it was like every sentence.
Horrible. The dialogue was
In the
fucking
beginning.
horrible.
Yeah, it was like so hard to listen to. And
Yeah.
you know, I just felt like there could have been so much more, like with the Santa and stuff. I think the best parts of it was at the end when you started to see what that Santa really was, and it was like almost turned into the Terminator or something like that. Like, I felt like we wanted more.
That's
of that.
what he wanted. That's what he was supposed to be. Like, the concept was set up to be just amazing, and they actually really built an animatronic killer Santa. He really wanted to make basically if Santa was a Terminator. Filmed he used all like the in-camera lighting, so the only lighting in the whole movie are these neons. He does that in a lot of his movies. And it was shot on 16 millimeter. It was shot on film, and I was ready for that to be like my next favorite movie of all time, and I just felt a little let down by it. But I do need to see it again. But
Yeah, I mean, I think if we had more of that
characters.
Yeah, I think so too. And the Terminator aspect, I think, would have been cooler if we got more of it, because before it was just a regular guy that didn't say much. He was just like, you know, there was nothing to him until he started deteriorating and stuff like that. So I think we could have, that part could have been a little bit different. Like, made him a little bit more robotic and stuff, you know?
Yeah, and it didn't really feel like a robot at all.
Yeah, it really just looked like a dude walking around. I wish that he would have had more robotic movements, and I wish they would have leaned a little more into like his like deterioration and showing more of the robot. They didn't really do a lot of that until the end.
Yeah, they should have got an actor who was like did a bunch of auditions and got like the best like robot actor. They should have got one of those and have him deteriorate a little bit, kind of like they did in Terminator, where you have some of his, you know, faces coming off and you see some other stuff. I just felt like every aspect that I was looking for they just didn't do enough with, but the concept is so cool.
No, I agree. I think definitely is a rewatch for me this year as well. I have two more on my list, and I haven't watched this 4K yet. I just got it, and people have been saying how amazing it looks. And again, is this necessarily horror? Not really, but Scrooged kind of walks like a little bit of a fine line between like comedy element and stuff. And I love this movie, and I just people said that the 4K looks amazing, and it's definitely one that I'm planning on watching probably this weekend. But have you guys checked out the 4K at all yet?
I haven't gotten it yet.
I forgot to order. I need to order that. There's some great stuff in that movie. Like the scene where he goes and visits his old boss and there's mice crawling through his head and shit like that. There's good effects in there. It's a really good story too. I need to buy that. I need to order that.
Now, even though it's Bill Murray, you'll support it?
I'll still support it. I like his 90s stuff.
Okay.
I love Bill Murray.
I was a huge fan of Bill Murray back in the late 80s, early 90s because of Ghostbusters. I just fell in love with him in that movie. I was always a Peter Venkman fan from the movie, the cartoon. He was always like my Ghostbuster that I loved. And then, you know, you got What About Bob, you got Scrooge, you got Groundhog Day. Like, I was all about Bill Murray back then. And then I kind of like lost track of him when I don't know what the last movie I saw that he was in for a while. Like, maybe it was Groundhog Day.
Kingpin?
Oh yeah, I did like that.
He was great in Kingpin.
Yeah. But like a lot of those other ones I had seen later when he was like, what was the other one he did where he was like an older man? And he was
he did a bunch of like weird.
They were like almost like indie like movies. It felt like.
Yeah.
Like I kind of saw some of those.
Lost in Translation, I think was one of them.
Life Aquatic and things like that.
Yeah. All right, I'll do one more honorable mention. I'm sure you guys have seen this, hopefully, or at least one of them, because there's two versions of this, and it is the Christmas story from Tales from the Crypt. Now, obviously, we probably all know the one from the television show, but this is from the movie. So the movie Tales from the Crypt actually has the exact same short in it, except it's just a different actor and story's a little bit different. So if you haven't seen the original one, it's still just as good as the one they did for the show.
With
basically, the one they did with the show was like,
guy?
yeah, like it was basically that scene that everybody talked about was a remake off the short that's in this.
Oh shit!
And the short that's in this is really, really good.
Is that Scream Factory?
Yeah.
Is that still available or no?
I don't know. But I do think maybe another company might have did Tales from the Crypt by itself. So you could check it out. But yeah, the Tales from the Crypt, both packages are really good, but the Tales from the Crypt movie has a lot of great shorts in there. Like if you haven't seen this, there's so many good ones in this that I still talk about today. Is like these little stories are just amazing. So and I always kind of get confused which one was which in Vault of Horror or Tales from the Crypt, but there's a one short that I always talk about where this woman has wishes and she wishes different things and they come true, and she has like one more wish. She wished her husband would be dead, so he ended up dying or whatever. And so he was embalmed and he's in the casket or whatever. And she's so upset that she can't believe that she did this. And so her last wish was she wished he was alive.
Oh no!
So it's such a great scene because he comes back to life, but like all he's doing is screaming and yelling. And she's like, "What's going on?" And the guy next to her is like, she's like, "I wished him alive." And he's like, "Yeah, he's embalmed. He's in pain." Like, you know, because like, and you think about that and you're like, that's so wild to think about. Like, he's back to life, but he's got like, he's embalmed.
That's
so the whole
really
time he's like,
creepy.
like he can't. So then she has no more wishes left. And that's kind of how that is a really cool short because you feel so bad, you know, for him. And then she's like trying to kill him like again. So she's stabbing him, but he's not dying. So it's like he's in more pain. It's
Oh
just,
my
like,
god!
so
This is
no,
why
that's
Tales from the
awful.
Crypt was amazing.
Yeah, that's very Tales from the Crypt. That's so creepy. I got to see that. I think I have
yeah.
it on DVD actually.
So try to find the Tales from the Crypt movie. However you can get it, I say it's worth it. But yeah, those are the honorable mentions I have as well. And guys, if you guys in the comments, if we forgot about, I know we definitely forgot about one big one. Might as well just say it now. Show them, Mel.
Show them what?
Show them the goods.
Listen,
Oh, Krampus. Yeah, we didn't talk about Krampus.
members only.
All right, so Krampus is another one that, you know, is obviously in a lot of people's top 5. Michael Dougherty, I mean, I like it. I just think it's a little bit overhyped for the hype that it gets. But I mean, I think aesthetically it looks really good. It was cool to see an original Christmas horror movie come out. I think it looks really well done. I don't know. There was just something about it. I don't know what it was that I just felt like it just didn't click with me as much as I think it clicked with everybody else. And I'm not saying it's bad because a lot of times people will just turn that into Garrett hates it, but not at all. We can only pick 5 movies here. It's hard to narrow down 5
I get
movies.
bored
Everything
by
I
that
showed
movie.
here tonight is a one I really like. What?
Yeah, Krampus just is a little boring to me. The story just isn't. That doesn't grab me. The story and the characters.
Yeah, I don't mind it, but I don't like what they did with Krampus as like in I don't even know if it was animatronic as a puppet or whatever it was.
His face doesn't
because
move.
his face doesn't move. So yeah, it wasn't scary to me. It just seemed like this unalive thing.
Is he supposed
just
to be
being
wearing a
pushed
mask or
around.
something?
I don't think so.
I personally feel like he was that was what he was supposed to look like, and it could have been really terrifying had he moved. You know, had his
it
face
needed to move.
moved, or he made some kind of like weird facial gestures and noises and stuff. But that's what kind of killed it for me. Is it wasn't scary after that.
Now, do you guys think? I don't know if Mel's seen it though. Do you guys think that something like Krampus, Trick or Treat, and like I would even bring in Thanksgiving would be a pretty cool like holiday triple feature? Like for those 3, I feel like would work really well together. In like
kind of cover all the
Halloween,
holidays in
Thanksgiving.
a nice little trilogy.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, did you end up seeing Thanksgiving, Mel, or no?
I didn't end up seeing it. No.
Oh,
And you did, Justin, right?
Oh.
yeah. I'm surprised. I'm just surprised you didn't
I can
check it
hear
out.
the judgment in your voice.
But
Well, I'm curious to hear what you think of it. I didn't.
oh, that's right.
I
You didn't love it.
I liked it. I just didn't love it.
Oh, okay. You didn't love it. How'd you feel about it, Garrett?
I loved it.
You loved it.
And that's
I mean,
I'm surprised.
I can see where people might have a problem with, like, most of the comments I got on my video about it was mostly that people wished it was taking place in the 70s and 80s. They didn't like the idea of technology being so prominent in it, which I get, because normally I wouldn't either. But I think because it takes place in a small town like Plymouth, where it still feels very old school, like, you know, to me, it kind of works a little bit, because in one aspect, it feels like it's in the 90s, pre, you know, cell phones, just because everything is so backdated. But at the same time, it is current. And a lot of people are like, oh, that Black Friday scene, you know, that's not how things are anymore. Well, it could be in a place like Plymouth that has one big, huge store and nothing else. Everybody might congregate there to kind of get, you know, the biggest sales and deals. So it's hard to really say unless you really live in an area like that. So I can see where some people could find like the clashing of like the feel of the movie. Like it kind of feels like 90s, in my opinion, but at the same time, it's current day, you know? So there is a little bit of mix in that, but I think it kind of just worked well. I had fun through the whole thing, and it's not many times I can say I was highly entertained from front to back on a movie.
It's got a quick runtime too, and there's some cool shit in it. I didn't like that he changed the trampoline scene. That kind of really bothered me.
He should have kept the scene. I don't know why he changed it.
Yeah. He just said it wouldn't fit with the movie. It was too it's just
like because people can't have trampolines in the backyard anymore.
No, he just said like it would have, that scene, if he would have went the direction as the trailer, would have felt out of place with the vibe of the rest of the movie. It was like too much or something. You know, I wanted that grindhouse feel. I think he should have done it just like Planet Terror or Death Proof was. Sure. Make it just like that. I think that would have been better. Make it a little bit gnarlier. I felt he held back on the kills and the gore. Although there was a couple decent scenes, it just felt like a Scream movie to me. It really, really did.
No, I might not enjoy this movie, huh?
It does feel like a little bit of a Scream movie. I can.
It could have been a Scream movie
on that, but I think it also, in my opinion, I feel like it felt Scream, but it felt more dangerous than Scream. Scream, I feel like, is sometimes too safe. Like it's like the same old like, oh, he got sliced and he's dead. Where this was like more creative with the kills, and
that's true.
It was a little bit different to it, vibe to it. And I do wish it was more of a grindhouse. I just don't know if it was one of those things that he was like, okay, I'm finally getting this movie out there. This could be a possibility for like many sequels and make us a new slasher holiday franchise. So I'm going to play it a little bit safe and not try to go too out there with like a grindhouse feel. I think he probably played it a little bit safe because he did get the sequel, which is huge for him to get the sequel. And
like immediately.
Right. This could be a franchise, which I think we all need, because, you know, I don't want to have to rely on Michael Myers all the time to like give us that holiday slasher or whatever. That let's give Michael Myers a rest and like, let's see where this thing goes, you know? And maybe
he'll go a little harder in the sequel.
He could. And I just think for me, like, I'm kind of tired of Scream. Like, I don't really care anymore about it. So I would rather look forward to something like this, just because, again, it's a little bit more fresh and whatnot. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Mel would probably like it.
Well, we'll see. I'll let you know.
Check it out for sure. But guys, thank you again for listening. This is the Rad Pack Podcast signing off. And hopefully you guys check it out, because we will be doing our holiday gift exchange in, I think, 2 weeks' time. So make sure you check that on our YouTube page at RadPackPod. We'll be doing that live. And that is always super fun because nobody knows what they're getting. And last year was a fun one. If you haven't checked that out, go check it out in the interim. And this is Rad Pack signing off. And like always, stay rad.
Stay weird.
And stay killer.